Good morning, boys and girls. This morning we're going to read the second half of Insect Detective. We're going to see what new things we can learn, and then we're going to also talk about the details of the story. So today you're listening for details that you've learned that are new. So after this, you're going to do your seesaw activity where you have to fill in the topic of this story. The title was Insect Detective. Then you have to choose the topic. What was this book all about? Nonfiction books always have a topic. And we've talked about that with our biographies and with some of our small group stuff. So what's the topic of this story? And then you're going to have to type in 4 details that you learned about insects today. Yesterday, you guys mentioned that you learned that wasps make their nests out of paper. Some people didn't know that the insects all start their lives as eggs. So those could be things you learned. These can be details you learned yesterday or today. But if you want to grab a piece of paper and you can pause the video and write stuff down when it's a new learning for you, that might be a good idea. So let's go ahead and read the second half of Insect Detective. Of course, you might find some creatures under there that aren't insects. Spiders, centipedes, woodlice, slugs, and once I found a baby frog. It's easy to tell whether something is an insect or not. All you have to do is count the legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If it has 6 legs, it's an insect. If it doesn't, it isn't. If you're lucky, you might even find a colored ground beetle gleaming in the sunlight. It's like discovering a precious jewel. But ground beetles aren't just pretty to look at. They're excellent hunters too. At night, they go out hunting for slugs and snails, which makes the gardeners very happy. Perhaps the greatest insect hunter of all is the dragonfly. Even the name sounds fierce. But don't worry, they won't come chasing after you. Dragonflies are much more interested in catching things like flies, mosquitoes, and gnats. Some will even snatch a spider from its web. On summer days when the air is still, you can see their wings sparkling in the light as they hunt, twisting, diving, and plucking flies from the air. Dragonflies are fabulous flyers. They have 2 sets of powerful wings which they can use to hover, change directions, and even fly backwards. It's hard to believe they started life in the water. But dragonflies lay their eggs in ponds or slow-moving rivers where they hatch into small dragonfly nymphs. A nymph sheds its skin many times until it is fully grown. Finally, it climbs out of the water and rests on the stem of a plant. As dawn breaks, its skin splits open and a beautiful dragonfly emerges, unfolding its wings and drying itself in the sun. And there's 2 captions on this page. This one up here says, dragonfly nymphs are the young, wingless version of adult dragonflies. And this text box says, the special changes that take place in insects' bodies are called metamorphoses. They happen in different ways as insects grow from eggs to adults. Sometimes when you think about these strange and wonderful things, moths hiding, ants talking, dragonflies changing, it's hard to believe that they could really be true. But you don't have to take my word for it. All you have to do is open the door and step outside. And this here on the back is a fun page. It says, be an insect detective. Find out which beetles live near you by burying a jam jar in the ground. Any beetles walking over the top during the night will fall in, but remember to check every morning and to let them go when you've finished looking. When it gets dark, put a camping light on a white sheet outside. This will attract moths, and you will be able to get a really close look at them. Allow a patch of nettles to grow in the corner of your yard. Lots of caterpillars love to eat them. How many can you find? Try making a place for solitary bees to live. Rinse out an empty tin can, Put some glue or melted wax in the bottom and fill it with drinking straws. Then hang the can with the straws pointing slightly downward to prevent rain from collecting in them. When spring arrives, you'll soon see a few bees coming along to investigate. Flying can be hard work for bumblebees, so if you see one crawling on the ground, it may have run out of energy. Mix some sugar and water in a teaspoon and give the bee a drink. It will soon be busy among the flowers again. Take a close look at wooden tables, fences, or benches you see outside. If they have tiny lines all over them, you know a wasp has been there before you. In hot, thundery weather, keep an eye out for swarming ants. When the temperature is just right, the young queens will be brought up to the surface where they will mate before flying away and starting new colonies. And then over here, we have our index. And then we have our our index gives a little caption, and then it has all our page numbers. If you are more interested in doing one of these activities, let me know and I'll type it up and send it to you, or I'll send you a picture of this page. Now I want you to head on over to Seesaw, open up the activity that says Insect Detective Day 2, and fill out the template that's on there about the title of the book, which was Insect Detective, the topic, which is what it was all about, and then 4 details from the story about the topic. Talk to you later.